Welcome to the Shakedown sound series.
In this series, we're going to share with you envelope filters by some of our favorite manufacturers.
Join us on this long, strange trip. Today, that Shakedown sound is being brought to you by the Maestro Agena Envelope Filter. Before we get into the pedal, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. And in this case, we used our Zzounds library card again, and we got in a Maestro pedal. We were interested in these pedals, and we were finally able to make that happen. So why don't you talk about how we're going to break this down?
Right. So Maestro from Gibson comes out a while ago. Like, wow, it's a cool first offering. Didn't really have a way to get our hands on them. Then they come out with their second offering, and this envelope filter's in that. And of course, we want to put it in the series. So thanks to Zzounds to be able to ship this out to us in a way that we could demo it, send it back, and it doesn't come out.
He said send it back. We'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't come out of our pocket. So with that, anytime we do the envelope series, the first thing we always do is jump into what I call the sounds, or we call the sounds from the Doodah Man, which is...
subjective.
Right, we say it that way. So it can be subjective.
I think I said murky waters.
Yes. So, yeah. So you can't be like, that doesn't sound exactly like who. So you have to know who we're talking about, right? Here we go. I feel like most people would go back and re-record that mistake, but I think we're all right with that. It's the night we've been having. I think we're all right with that.
It's the way we roll.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it gets there.
Yeah, I jokingly said if you see the little guy walk across the shelf, it got there. And in this case, if he saw his shadow, 27 more minutes of jamming.
It's like, let's get into the features. Start talking about that a little bit. And we're going to have Pat play through some of these knobs here in a second. There's a switch on this up and down. And I want to read what Maestro wrote in the book. It says, toggles the filter frequency from low to high. Up position, filter frequency is focused on the higher range. Low, it's focused on the lower range. And so we've done so many envelope filters. And normally we're talking about like band pass, high pass, low pass.
Right.
And when we flipped the switch tonight, I didn't feel like we went from like a low pass to a high pass. I didn't feel that way. Because normally high pass, you can get that real AM radio sounding kind of thing.
Right.
I didn't feel that way. Mm-hmm. A lot of times there's a switch on with direction up or down.
Right.
And so up one of the directions we call a laser beam, and we feel like that changes depending on
the manufacturer and how they do it. And
right. And I'm not sure that's true, but we feel like that's true.
Again, that's our excuse. But I do like the way they put it in this very simple terms for this particular pedal.
Right. So let's start with just that switch, because I want you to hear the difference, and maybe you can tell us in the comments down below. We've done like, what, 25, 30 envelope filter. We really should probably know this by now, but they really do seem to be very different.
Well, we do them like 3 months apart sometimes.
Yeah, so.
All right, so we're going to leave it right where it was. And
leave it there, and then I'm going to flip the switch after you play a little bit.
All right. I could hear some of the difference. There was a little bit more sizzle, a little more top end when it was in the high position. When it got low, it kind of mellowed out a little bit.
Because I would feel like low would be normally where I would go for the sound of the Doodah Man, but we played with it. We were just about ready to go, and I flipped the switch just to see what it sounded like, because I assumed they're like, no, let's switch it. So I don't know. Put it this way, I think both of them sound good. They both, so we'll leave it there. Let's jump to the Decay knob. On the Decay knob, adjust how long the filter stays in the open position. And so you can hear it. You can hear the filter open, and then you can hear it close off. I'm going to turn this way down. And if you just give it a chord and let it ring.
I'll do an E minor so we get copyright strike.
So then when we go all the way to the top, it should stay open a lot longer. And real quick, we'll go into the middle just so you can hear kind of the split. So you can hear it kind of like close down. The attack knob adjusts how fast the filter increases. And so why don't I just roll that all the way down, and maybe, I don't know, like we think single notes?
Yeah, okay. All right.
Whatever you want to do. And then we'll just roll that up so we can hear how it changes. You hear the difference? So, and the one thing I wonder if we made a mistake on too is I had left it down low. I wonder if that filter would have been easier to hear. Like real quick, if we have a backup and high, if we do the Decay short.
With a rake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's easier to hear it close off.
Yeah,
there.
you can hear where it just seems like it just drops off the edge of the cliff. And
yeah. All right, and then one last knob on this guy would be the sense knob. So it adjusts the envelope sensitivity in response to picking attacks. So one of the really nice thing about envelope filter is the harder you pick, the more it's going to trip off. It's going to trip the filter, right? So if you turn that way down, you can kind of pick softly, and it's not tripping the envelope until you really dig in, but you can turn it way up and it should trip almost all the time. So if we start all the way down, it should be, in theory, hard to get it to trip. And then as we turn it up, it should get easier and easier with your picking.
Yeah, it almost went from almost no effect. I mean, I was really picking as hard as I could, and it was barely poking out. And then the more you went up, it did. And then it's almost like all filter if I'm digging in really hard and it's all the way to the right.
Yeah, it almost looked like you didn't have to really
Right.
hit it that hard at all. So, quick look at the Maestro envelope filler. Cool. I mean, it's really cool to see them putting out new stuff, and I think maybe you shouldn't admit it, but I think one of our favorite parts is the 3 lights down there on the side.
As a lifelong Steelers fan, I approve of those 3 colors. They look like that.
Anything else, Ed?
I think it's great. I think I think it's great because honestly, some of the nuances on some of the other pedals was a little difficult to twist the knobs just for a very long time to kind of get it. I feel like this is pretty simple.
Yeah, it came pretty quick.
Yeah. We spent a lot less off-camera time trying to figure it out. Doesn't mean those pedals are bad. It's pretty straightforward.
Right. Some envelope filters are really... There's like a sweet spot that's hard to find, but once you find it, it's incredible.
Right.
And then some are like, wow, everything is kind of good, but maybe never hit that super sweet spot. To me, this was easy to dial in. And so, yeah. Maestro envelope filter, the Agena envelope filter. And with that, hey, thanks for checking it out. This series has about 20 other envelope filters in. Some of them are a much deeper dive than what we did with this one because they needed it. And so go check those out if you want. You can stop by the website, see them there. Always appreciate anybody that's clicking the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell, liking, commenting. Anytime, like Pat said in the beginning, if you interact with the show, it helps us to be able to interact with other people to bring cool stuff to you. So with that...
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. Especially when you have Steelers and an alien head on the front of it.